kendama, and then I was like, well, who made the kendama? Who had this brilliant idea to make this kendama? Now, for some reason, my question was, who and why did they make it? So, the words didn't come out, but the man that had the idea was, it took me 3 days to find this, but it was Kenju. And this man, in China, there is a factory where they wood turn these, it's a log, they would turn them with this special screwdriver. And when it's wood turning, it's all beautiful and it looks like this, right? But the ball is still a ball, it's still a wood. But then I asked myself, well, why did he invent this, right? So I went up and I was looking up, and then actually what he did, the first kendama was, I think they showed us in 6th grade camp, that it was just a round circle with a string and a stick, and you make it in just like that. And that was actually the first kendama, which was made by the Indians, native. But then he made the wood turning, and then they started inventing metal kendamas, which was how they made lava, and then they put them together. They dry them off, then the whole process of putting them in the water. And then with the balls, you come, for example, this one, it says, these kendamas were wood turned in sand about for 5 hours each one. Same with the balls. The balls were about 2 or 3 hours. And how they painted them was the ball was put into the first primary color, the back. It was put into the paint, but you know the wine thing that when you pop it up, the little cap, they put those in so the paint wouldn't get in the ball, because if the paint got in the ball, when you try doing spike, it would mess up because the paint had the ball wasn't perfect, so it had little like bumps. So if you put paint, it will make them harder. It will make harder to go in spike. And the secondary color was just they had, it was amazing. I saw a video where they had this robot, and the robot just grabbed they gave it like paintbrush. They just holded it there, and then they just, while the ball was turning, they just made it go up and down slowly, and that's how they would paint the stripes. But for example, these were a lot different. They were harder. Okay, so you can't zoom in. But these were same, they were painted as the other kendamas. But instead of being just wood turned, they were polished while they were wood turned. So they didn't just get wood turned and then paint. But while they were wood turning it, they would polish it, just a ball. So after they painted it and polished it again, it would come up as a bright, shiny color. And then, who or why did they invent the tricks? So I looked up some tricks, and it just said by the years people would go to the factories or to the place where selling them, and they would show them their own trick and say, well, I called it this, for example, the bird or the finger roll. And then that's how new tricks were invented, so forth and so long, until right now we have the lunar, I think is the hardest trick. But yeah. And then I said, why did they invent them? And then I was looking up, saying a lot of time, took me home and school. And what I find out is why they invented them. Because if you ever seen if you got like sweets or tribute, on the back of the box it says it helps them to give you eye coordination and more balance, which makes you more focused, which helps you in school or reading. It helps you, I don't know how it does it, but it just gives you more focus and It just gives you more coordination, more balance. And then, yeah, I hope you guys like this. And I was going around and asking people why they wanted the Kendamas. And many people say because they were popular. But this one person told me that they wanted it because they were looking up to a Kendama pro, and that they wanted to help people. Like, you know how the Ice Bucket Challenge, that they donate money? Some pros of kids do that for kids that are in the hospitals. So thank you for listening, you guys.